Hello, welcome to another video. Please like, share and subscribe for more amazing story. True God in Another Worlds, Tensura x Tbate, by Tempest_King_20. Side Chapter 7, The Enchanted Jungle. Arthur Lewin Pav. As another day dawned, casting its golden hues across the sky, we found ourselves standing before a foreboding dungeon, its ancient stone walls towering above us. A chill wind whispered through the air, causing goosebumps to rise on our skin as we huddled together for warmth. Leaning against the cold outer wall of the dungeon, I stood alongside my brother and Jasmine, anxiously awaiting the arrival of the twin horns. To fulfill Ri's promise, we had agreed to clear this perilous dungeon with the twin horns. With each passing moment, our excitement mingled with frustration as the minutes stretched on without any sign of our fellow adventurers. "They're too late," I muttered, my voice tinged with disappointment. Ri let out a frustrated sigh, his head sinking wearily against the unforgiving stone. Jasmine simply shrugged her shoulders, unwilling to dwell on the delay. Just as our patience started to wane, a voice we were all too familiar with broke through the silence. "Haha, we're sorry about that." Turning towards the sound, our eyes met with Helen, her figure standing tall amidst the rest of the party members. Relief washed over us as we realized that the twin horns had finally arrived. "Well, I'm sure Adam is to blame," Ri teased, a sarcastic grin playing on his lips, his gaze fixed mischievously upon their fellow party member. Adam appeared worn out and battered, his disheveled appearance telling tales of an eventful morning. Amidst the chuckles of the twin horns, Angela chimed in, her voice laced with amusement. "Oh, you have no idea. He was like a rock, completely unresponsive. So Durden had to resort to a good-fashioned wake-up call, a firm hit." Ri couldn't help but join in, his eyes dancing with mirth. "Ah, reminds me of someone," he said, shooting a playful glance in my direction. Rolling my eyes in response, I scoffed, yeah, we all know I can be a heavy sleeper sometimes." Jasmine couldn't resist joining the banter, a mischievous twinkle in her eyes. "Well, at least you're not the only one with a talent for sleeping through alarms," she remarked, causing laughter to erupt between us and dissipate the lingering tension in the air. With the twin horns finally here, the weight of our upcoming adventure felt a little lighter. Curiosity sparked within Helen's eyes as she turned toward us, her gaze filled with genuine interest. "So," she began, her voice carrying a note of excitement, "how have you all progressed? What stage are you at now?" A proud smile tugged at Jasmine's lips as she eagerly shared her achievements. "I've reached the light yellow stage and even unlocked the sound deviant." Feeling a sense of accomplishment, I chimed in, wanting to show my progress as well. "I'm now at the dark orange stage, with cracks appearing." With a confident yet humble expression, Ri added, "light yellow stage." His unexpected response caught Adam off guard. "Light yellow? Damn, you're still a monster, huh?" he exclaimed, visibly surprised. Ri chuckled, nonchalantly shrugging his shoulders. "Just trying to keep up with the best," he replied with a mischievous grin. Impressed by our progress, Helen nodded approvingly, a spark of pride glimmering in her eyes. "Well, it seems like we're all finally geared up and ready for the challenges that lie within this dungeon," she declared, her voice filled with determination. Her gaze swept across the resolute faces of our party. "Let's embark on this journey and discover what awaits us." With Helen leading the way, we ventured into the depths of the dungeon, the darkness engulfing us as we delved further into the unknown. The twin horns moved with an effortless grace, their years of experience evident in each step they took. It was truly inspiring to witness their prowess in action. The dungeon, aptly named the Enchanted Jungle, unfolded before us like a surreal painting. Its sheer beauty took my breath away, as vibrant vegetative growth adorned every corner. Exotic plant life reached out in a symphony of colors, enveloping the surroundings and creating an otherworldly atmosphere that promised danger yet enticed wonder. The air hummed with an almost tangible energy, as if the very plants were alive and pulsating with hidden potential. It soon became apparent that the denizens of this lush environment possessed an uncanny ability to manipulate plants to their advantage. They were in perfect harmony with their surroundings, able to fashion deadly traps, erect impenetrable barriers, and even animate creatures from the very foliage itself. These creatures, armed with nature's arsenal, launched vicious attacks against any intruders with relentless determination. Illusion magic held sway in this daunting realm, casting hallucinations and mirages meant to disorient and confuse even the most seasoned adventurers. Minutes seemed to pass in the blink of an eye as we pressed onward, our footsteps echoing through the cavernous corridors. The journey was accompanied by a subtle symphony of distant chirping insects and rustling leaves, creating an eerie yet oddly comforting melody. The weight of anticipation hung in the air, thickening with each passing moment. Suddenly, as if materializing out of thin air, a group of fearsome beasts appeared before us. Their formidable presence demanded immediate attention, making my heart race and my muscles tense in preparation for the looming battle. Helen wasted no time in providing insight, her voice ringing out with a mixture of confidence and authority. "Behold the earthshaker beetles," she announced, gesturing towards the massive creatures before us. These formidable beings boast a thick exoskeleton, reinforcing their bodies against most physical assaults. Their mastery of earth magic allows them to unleash devastating shockwaves and tremors, causing the very ground to quake beneath their adversaries. With razor-sharp mandibles, they can effortlessly tear through sturdy tree trunks, while their hardened shells offer an unprecedented level of protection. Helen quickly formulated a strategy, her voice resonating with determination. "Adam, Jasmine, Ree, and Art, go in close and target their weak spots," she commanded, her gaze sweeping across the group with a mix of expectation and assurance. "Durden, take care of our defense." Her orders were met with nods of understanding and determination from our group. Each member took their designated positions, settling into a formation that maximized our strengths and minimized vulnerabilities. I found myself positioned behind Jasmine, Adam, and Ree, ready to eliminate any creature that dared to pass by them. As the battle commenced, Helen and Angela unleashed a stunning display of magical abilities. Angela, with her mastery over wind magic, created tornadoes that twisted and roared into existence. She also shot razor-sharp wind blades towards the earthshaker beetles, each strike guided with precision. Meanwhile, Helen's aim with her bow was nothing short of perfection, as her arrows found their marks with unfailing accuracy. Adam, Jasmine, and Ree moved like shadows, their movements swift and stealthy. They circled around the creatures, searching for their weak spots, exploiting any vulnerabilities they could find. Their strikes were precise and well coordinated, their remarkable agility allowing them to strike the earthshaker beetles where it mattered most. In retaliation, the mighty earthshaker beetles unleashed their powerful shockwaves, causing the very ground beneath us to rumble and quake. But Durden stood strong, unwavering in his resolve. His hulking form absorbed the brunt of the onslaught, expertly redirecting the force of the attacks away from the rest of the group. It was thanks to his unyielding defense that we were able to maintain our offensive pressure against these formidable foes. Minutes turned into hours as we fought relentlessly, the battle becoming a test of endurance and willpower. Fatigue threatened to seep into our bones, but we refused to yield. With each passing moment, our confidence grew, fueled by Helen's strategic guidance and our collective determination to conquer the dungeon. In a brief moment of respite, I locked eyes with Ree, and we shared a wordless understanding. We both knew that if we wanted to end this battle swiftly, we needed to harness the full extent of our magical abilities. Ree, with a flick of his wrist, summoned an array of ice spears and fire arrows, his control over these opposing elements a constant source of fascination for me. With a simple wave of his hand, he sent them hurtling towards our enemies, each icy spike and flaming arrow finding its mark. In harmony with Ree's display of power, I summoned my own magic, a fusion of fire and wind. The elements danced together, intertwining and combining to create a spectacle of raw power. What emerged was a swirling vortex of flames and gusts of wind, a fire tornado that engulfed the earthshaker beetles. The combined forces tore through their defenses, leaving them vulnerable to our onslaught. With renewed vigor and a coordinated effort, we struck at the weakened creatures. With each blow, we exploited their weaknesses, delivering fatal strikes that chipped away at their resilience. One by one, the earthshaker beetles succumbed to our relentless assault, their massive bodies collapsing to the ground. As the final beetle fell, a collective breath escaped our lips, mingling with the acrid scent of scorched earth and the lingering heat of battle. Our hearts pounded within our chests, thrumming with a heady mix of adrenaline and triumph. Helen, although visibly exhausted, wore a satisfied smile, a testament to the hard-fought victory we had achieved. "Well done, everyone," she congratulated, her voice tinged with exhaustion yet brimming with pride. Now, let's not waste any more time. There's still much to explore. Dash 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 dash. Adam's tired body sank onto the grass, his muscles aching and his breath coming in ragged gasps. The battle with the formidable thorned vipers had stretched on for hours, pushing us to the limits of our endurance. As the heaviness of exhaustion settled over us, we collapsed in a haphazard circle, catching our breath and trying to recover from the grueling fight. I'm so tired. Adam's voice resonated with weariness, each word carrying the weight of his fatigue. His usually vibrant eyes were dulled, mirroring the exhaustion that plagued us all. However, amidst the heaviness that clung to us, Rimuru couldn't resist his usual teasing and mockery. Ho ho, I guess you're not as strong as you thought, Rimuru snickered, unable to pass up the opportunity to goad Adam even in this state. Adam groaned, too exhausted to even lift himself from the ground. Not everyone is a monster like you, he retorted wearily, his voice laced with a mix of frustration and admiration. Helen chimed in, offering her support to Adam. Sorry about that, but I have to agree with Adam this time, she said, taking a much-needed sip of water to replenish her depleted energy. After battling those thorned vipers, feeling tired is only natural. Rimuru nodded in understanding, scanning the surroundings in search of a suitable place for us to rest. Well, you're right, he conceded, turning his gaze back to Helen. Would you like to have something to eat? That would be great, but I don't think any of us have the ability to cook right now, Helen said with a hint of disappointment, her stomach audibly growling after the strenuous battle. Rimuru's mischievous grin widened. I can handle that, he declared confidently, his eyes gleaming with playful determination. Really? You know how to cook? Angela, who sat beside Jasmine, couldn't help but ask, her curiosity piqued. A mischievous glint sparked in Rimuru's eyes. Of course I can. Who do you think has been cooking for these two? He said, pointing at me and Jasmine, a smug expression tugging at his lips. Adam raised an eyebrow skeptically. Are you sure about that? I don't recall ever seeing you cook before, he challenged with a hint of amusement. Rimuru shrugged nonchalantly. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. Just leave it to me, he replied with confidence, wanting to prove his hidden talent to the group. Let him take over, he knows how to cook, in fact the food he cooks is the best cooking I've ever tasted in my life, I said. Everyone turned their gazes to Jasmine for confirmation, which they received with a nod of her head. Convinced by our testimonies, Rimuru started gathering firewood and preparing the necessary ingredients, drawing upon his knowledge and experience to create a feast. Relief washed over me as I realized our exhausted bodies would soon be nourished by Rimuru's culinary prowess. As the fire crackled and the enticing aroma of food filled the air, our weariness started to dissipate. We huddled around the makeshift campfire, basking in its warmth as Rimuru presented his culinary masterpiece. The dishes were meticulously prepared, bursting with vibrant colors and infused with enticing aromas. The first bite was pure bliss. The intricately crafted flavors danced on my tongue, bringing comfort and satisfaction that I hadn't even known I craved. Each dish Rimuru served was like a work of art, perfectly balanced in taste and presentation. What is this? Adam exclaimed, wide-eyed, after taking a bite of Rimuru's food. Do you eat like this every day? He asked, looking at me and Jasmine for confirmation, his eyes filled with both surprise and envy. Well, maybe not every day, but yes, Jasmine replied with a smile, appreciating Rimuru's talent as much as the rest of us. And why didn't you let us try it sooner? Angela chimed in, her eyes filled with awe and her voice full of excitement. You should cook more often. Thank you, Durden interjected, his voice filled with genuine appreciation. Your cooking truly is a gift. Adam couldn't help but feel a pang of envy. A professional swordsman, a skilled mage, good looks, and now a talented cook. You're a lucky brat, he grumbled, a hint of playful resentment in his voice. Angela nudged him playfully. Well, I'm sure the girls will be lining up for him, she teased, her eyes sparkling mischievously. Speaking of girls, Helen smirked and leaned in closer to Rimuru, her expression full of intrigue. I heard from Alice about that girl, Seal, she said, a mischievous glint in her eyes. You've got yourself quite the cute girlfriend, don't you? Rimuru blushed, unable to hide his joy. Ha ha ha, thank you, he stammered, his voice filled with genuine warmth and happiness. Jasmine couldn't contain her curiosity. "So, you two are really together?" she asked, her eyes sparkling with excitement. Rimuru nodded, his smile growing wider. "Yes, we are," he confirmed, the newfound happiness evident in his every word and gesture. Angela couldn't contain her excitement either. She jumped up and engulfed Rimuru in a tight hug, pulling his head close to her chest. "Our boy Ri has finally found his girl," she exclaimed, her voice filled with elation and joy for Ri. The rest of them couldn't help but share in the happiness, their weariness momentarily forgotten as they basked in Rimuru's newfound love, while Adam muttered to himself about how unfair it was that a 10-year-old boy had a girlfriend while he remained single. The moment of celebration was short-lived as Adam's tired voice cut through the air, breaking the temporary euphoria. I think we should complete the raid." The weight of his words reminded us all that our task was far from over. We couldn't afford to lose focus, not now. Helen, always the voice of reason, nodded in agreement, her earlier smile fading as her determination returned to her eyes. Her voice, steady and resolute, cut through the tension. "You're right, Adam," she said. "We can't let our guard down. More challenges lie ahead, and we need to be prepared." Her words served as a rallying cry, igniting a renewed sense of determination within each of us. We gathered our strength and resumed our journey deeper into the raid, fully aware that our path would not be an easy one. Our first obstacle loomed in front of us, a terra golems. Curiosity mingled with concern as I turned to my brother, seeking guidance. "So, how do we handle this?" I asked, fully aware of the immense challenge that presented itself before us. These monsters were not to be underestimated. They were literally composed of rock, their hardened exteriors making it difficult to penetrate their defenses with our conventional weapons. My brother began to explain our options, his voice taking on a thoughtful tone. Water magic would be ineffective against them, as these creatures would simply absorb it. Wind magic might cause minimal damage, but it wouldn't be enough to defeat them. The remaining elements won't do much unless they are highly concentrated, which would deplete our mana reserves. That leaves us with two possibilities: sound magic, using frequencies to disrupt their structure, or freezing them with ice magic. Adam, appreciating the thorough analysis, chimed in with a genuine tone. "That's a good analysis. So, what do we do?" he asked, placing his trust in Helen's decision-making. Helen, her calculating gaze scanning our group, considered our options with measured thoughtfulness. The only ones here who can use sound magic are Ri and Jasmine, while Ri and Art possess ice magic abilities. Her eyes flickered with calculations, her gaze finally landing on me. There was a glimmer of hope in her voice as she asked, "Do you think you can freeze them, Art?" Feeling the weight of responsibility, I swallowed hard but answered with determination. "Well, I guess I can give it a try. But bear in mind, freezing them will consume a significant amount of mana, leaving me limited for the next floor." Helen nodded, understanding the sacrifice I was willing to make. I propose that Ri handles half of the golems with his ice magic, while Jasmine takes care of the other half with her sound magic. If possible, Art, your role will be to distract them, buying us time. She outlined the plan, her voice filled with conviction. Ri, his katana sheathed, stepped forward, fully embracing the challenge that lay ahead. "That sounds doable. I'll take care of the golems on the right side. Jasmine, can you handle the left side? Art, can you distract them?" Jasmine, a glimmer of determination in her eyes, nodded confidently. "Count me in. I can handle them." Adam seemed skeptical, his brows furrowing with concern, but chose not to voice his doubts. Instead, he spoke up with an air of cautious optimism. "All right, let's give it a shot." Following Ri's instructions, we positioned ourselves strategically, our hearts pounding in our chests. Ri and Jasmine took their place on the front lines, ready to face the approaching golems head-on. The rest of us positioned ourselves to deal with the golems in the middle, prepared to lend support whenever needed. Without a moment's hesitation, Ri seemed to vanish into thin air. I craned my neck, my heart pounding in my chest, desperately searching for him amidst the chaos. And then, like a phantom, he materialized, his lithe frame blending seamlessly among the group of towering golems he had singled out, gracefully dodging a powerful punch with a fluidity that defied human limits. His confident smile, dazzling in its intensity, betrayed his unyielding belief in his own capabilities. Beside him, Jasmine, her eyes ablaze with determination, unleashed the full force of her sound magic. The air cracked with anticipation as she created a sonic blast that reverberated through the battlefield. The ground beneath her trembled with each note, the golems on her side faltering, their mechanical structures weakened by the raw force of the acoustic resonance she had unleashed. Turning my attention back to Ri, I observed a spellbinding sight, the group of golems, now frozen in a thick layer of ice. Ri, twin arcs of frost jumping across his fingertips, shattering the icy prison along with the golems it ensnared. His movements were swift, precise, leaving no room for the golems to recover and retaliate. But I refused to fall behind, my own magic pulsing through my veins. I channeled my wind magic, my palms outstretched, fingers splayed wide. The air responded, whipping around me with a fury that matched my determination. Forceful gusts roared to life, swirling and spiraling towards the golems in the middle, their power aimed at disorienting and knocking them off balance. Angela added her own flair to the clash. Her wind magic intertwined with mine, the energies blending seamlessly. Together, we create a swirling whirlwind that lifts the golems off the ground, rendering them vulnerable to attacks. Durden, with his earth magic, manipulates the very ground beneath the golems' feet. It quaked and cracked in response, further destabilizing their stance, causing them to stumble. Together, we fight as a united front. Our teamwork was flawless, our strategies intricate and synchronized. We utilize our varied abilities to weaken and defeat the seemingly indestructible terra golems. It was a grueling battle, our bodies pushed to the brink of exhaustion, our minds laser-focused. But we refused to let fatigue or doubt creep into our hearts, drawing strength from the unwavering camaraderie that bound us. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the last of the terra golems fell. Their once mighty forms now lay shattered and broken, scattered across the battlefield. With shattered rocks and cracked earth littering the ground, bearing silent witness to the intensity of the battle that had taken place. As we took a collective moment to catch our breaths, Helen's voice cut through the post-battle haze. Filled with genuine gratitude and admiration for our combined efforts, her words rang out like a balm for our weary souls. Great job, everyone. I couldn't have asked for better teammates. Let's take a moment to rest, but remember, there are still more challenges ahead. We can't afford to let our guard down. In unison, we nodded, the weight of her words sinking deep within us. We knew that the path ahead was treacherous, that the raid we had embarked upon was far from over, and we had to stay focused and determined if we wanted to succeed.